everyone, this is Kieran from Keys Minis. Today we're going to look at a recipe I use for bone. So using Rhinox Hide, I use this as a base because I think it adds a little bit of added shadow depth towards the model. So yeah, basing with Rhinox Hide, I'm just obviously going to work all around the bone areas, nice and steady. Maybe 1 or 2 layers, it depends on how thin you go with the layering of this one. But yeah, just nice and steady, work it around the areas. Make sure I'm using this Cursed City model, but I tend to use this on all kind of bone recipes I do. Like I said, I like it because it gives me added depth, I feel, when I use this brown as an undertone, but it's entirely up to you if you want to use something like XV88, which is what I use in the next part. So that's it, just a wash over or a paint over using XV88. Now this is where I kind of start to detail in some of the bone areas, so I'll probably work quite a thick layer of paint on this bit. Not using thin paints, I tend to try and glaze things mainly, or just a bit, not like a thin coat. I tend to go a little bit more towards the glaze area because I just feel it gives a better finish once you work areas like that. So obviously with these kind of Cursed City skeletons, there's quite a lot of bone areas. When you're painting kind of skeletons and stuff from like the other Cursed City guys, the Death Rattles, you're mainly going to be working with maybe a leg, an arm, bits of an arm and the head. I have also painted the head on the other one, but I may do just a separate tutorial for that. On there's these two models. I think they're objective markers. For this one, I just mainly worked on this because I wanted to work the body area, because I've seen a lot of things with bone and it's just mainly the skull, and so I wanted to kind of show how I work on the littler bones a little bit more. So I did 1 layer and then I worked on a 2nd layer of XV88. Like I said, I worked it at quite a thin consistency, so just working that 2nd layer just helped me kind of get just a better finish, overall finish basically. But again, you've got to find out what works for you. If 1 layer works, that's fine. If you use a thin layer, now I'm going to use a mixture of Ushanti Bone and XV88, and again, just like in the last bit, I'm just going to work a smaller area of the bone. With these kind of skeletons on the kind of ribs, it's kind of a little bit more difficult, but maybe on like the hip bones you can kind of work in, keep some areas that are darker brown and can work the shadows, but yeah, with these it's just kind of just work around. Again, I'm probably only going to do 1 layer of this one because I don't think I'll need it as much. With the XV88 over the brown, it kind of gives a nice coverage then, and then you can kind of just work in. So obviously I'm working here on the rib cage, just taking my time, and it wipe off any excess so you're not like pooling it too much into the recesses. These objective markers are perfect for this kind of just show off how you can paint these models. I think there's so many options you can do, work with them. And again, some of you might just like to go from that XV88 base if you don't want a darker tone, but I just find with the rib cages at the end, it just gives me a better finish. So next layer, I'm just going to work Ushanti Bone. just pure Ushanti Bone now, and I'm just going to work again over them similar areas. It's the same kind of technique across both of each one. Again, probably this time I'll work more up towards the upper chest, so where the rib cages are at the top, where it meets in the middle, and maybe not have as much of a layer around kind of the sides and the backs as much, just to make them a bit more prominent and show off a little bit more. And on the shoulder blades here, I'm just kind of blending it into that XV88 as well. There's like obviously a little blade at the back, you can blend it in. If you want to use previous layers to mix it and blend it a bit better, that you get a better finish overall. So this is it. I'm just using some XV88 and Ushanti Bone, that previous layer, just to mix it in. I find, like, certainly around the hip bones on these ones where they're quite visible, some of the brown was a little too apparent, so by just using a bit of the previous mixture I could get the blends a little bit tidier. And again, this is all your personal preference as a painter. You might just want a nice quick finish, and it depends how well you want to do them. I also tried to work on some of the upper areas where it was shaded as well, so under the leg bone I tried to add a little bit of XV88 there just to kind of work it out a little bit better. Now just using pure Screamer Skull. As you can see, some of the blends here are a little bit better. I'm just mainly now working on the upper edges, so of the knees, or like as the bones protrude there on the leg, I'm working over that area and across like the main center area, as opposed to all the bone area. So again, same on the feet, just little dots here and around these raised areas of the hip bone, and down kind of the spinal area I worked it as well, just a nice edge highlight there down the spinal area. I think I cut it for some reason, but yeah, but just worked over those areas at the top again. You can see some of the shade there where I've used some of the XV88 and left some of the Rhinox Hide showing, just so it's got a bit of depth. Like I said, I like this technique. It's entirely up to you as a painter what you like. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next one.